Hey, my name is Destiny and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So the Sephora sale, the spring Sephora sale is just around the corner. So I thought it'd be like a great time to tell you guys or recommend some spring recommendations. To give you guys some recommendations for what fragrances you should buy during the Sephora sale. So if you want to see what my personal recommendations are and what I think that if you're interested in buying some fragrances, what you should be buying during this Sephora sale, definitely please keep watching. But before you do, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I talk about fragrances here on my channel, of course, a lot. I also talk about sometimes fashion and beauty. So if that's something that you're interested in, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. So let's get right into the Sephora recommendations for the spring sale. Okay, so the first thing I am going to recommend, and this is just a house in general, is if there is something that you want from the House of Tom Ford, this is the time to get it, especially if you are buying the Privé line. And I say this because Tom Ford is so incredibly expensive. So if you can now go ahead and get like a discount on a fragrance that costs you like $400 and you can get 10%, 15%, 20%, just anything from Tom Ford, I would, recommend. I will not be buying anything from the Sephora sale this Sephora sale. I've gotten quite a bit of fragrances sent in the mail over the past few months. So I don't think I'm going to be buying any like full bottles, but I think I'm going to be buying a lot of sample like discovery sets just because there's some fragrance houses and some fragrances that I really want to try, and I want to start reviewing like different perfumes and stuff like that. So that's kind of be like where I'm heading towards. But personally, if I was, what I would be buying is Tom Ford Oud Wood. I love that fragrance. I have like a 10 ml that isn't done yet. That's probably also why it's not done yet. So there's no reason for me to go and buy like a big bottle. But if it was, I would be buying it during this Sephora sale. Noir de Noir is another one that has been on my wish list for quite a while. I don't know why I haven't bought it yet, but I have not. Last Sephora sale, I bought, what was it that I got? A Cafe Rose that used to be part of the Privé line, but now it's part of the original line. That I actually went ahead and got, and I do like it. It's like a chocolate rose fragrance, and it's really good. So yeah, anything pretty much from Tom Ford where you can save a good bit of money, I would definitely recommend buying it during the Sephora sale. Another perfume, well, this is going to be another house, I should say, is the House of Kilian. So Kilian is very expensive perfume house. I have one Kilian perfume. I have samples of other perfumes, but I only have one actual full bottle of Kilian, and that is Angel Share. So when I bought Angel Share, initially when I first bought it, it was $260. And I think I also bought it during the Sephora sale a few years ago, like when it first came out. Let me see how much it costs right now. And so when I say 260, I mean 260 Canadian, by the way. So right now it is that in Canadian? Okay, so right now Canadian is $331.50. So that is at least quite a bit of a, price jump. So yeah, so when I bought it, it was $260 retail price, and then I got like 20% off at the time. Now it's more expensive. So if Kilian has been kind of like on your radar to purchase, now would be the time to purchase Angel Share if you get your 10% or 15% or 20% off. Also, if you cannot, let's say you really want a full bottle, but you can't get the full bottle and even the discount is too expensive, they now actually have a travel size that you can buy. So even if, let's say, you can't afford the big bottle, but you still like want Angel Share, but you can't afford that one, I would still recommend buying the 10 ml bottle and then getting your percentage off, because therefore at least you have the perfume that you want and you still don't have to spend the retail price for it. So if you just can't afford that one, or you just don't want to spend that kind of money, but you really like the fragrance, I would say start with the 10 ml, get your discount, and then, whenever you can, or you could just keep your purchasing the 10 ml bottle, then you could, the 100 ml bottle or whatever size bottle it is, then you can go ahead and do that. Because I do believe also the 10 ml is still also quite pricey. I'm gonna check. Oh, it's not even a 10 ml bottle. It's not even a 10 ml bottle, you guys. It's 7.5 milliliters. You don't even get 10 milliliters. Okay, well, in Canadian, the 7.5 milliliters retails for $65. That's very expensive. But if that is what you can afford and you really love this fragrance, you just cannot bite the bullet on the 50 ml, then that's perfectly fine. Go ahead and get your 10, 15%, 20% discount and get yourself the 7.5 milliliter. And the good part about this is why I would recommend the 7.5 milliliter is because you don't actually need a lot of sprays with Angel Share. It is quite a potent and beast mode fragrance. So even at 7.5 milliliters, because of how beast mode the fragrance is, it is bound to last you quite a long time. So yeah, but if you want that one, I would recommend buying it, at a discount, the big or the small one. And other thing else from Kilian, yeah, just the basic things from Kilian, like Love Don't Be Shy. I know that retails for I think $300 or $400 and something dollars. I'm not a huge Love Don't Be Shy kind of girl. It just smells like straight up sugar to me, so does not appeal to me at all. Just smells like straight up sugar. The only other Kilian that's personally on my list is Moonlight in Heaven, and I believe it's like a mango and something else type of fragrance, but it's definitely a fruity fragrance. But that was the one I ended up liking out of the entire Discovery set line that I did try, is that one. Other than that, yeah, that's it. But if you have anything else from Kilian that you like and it's available at Sephora, I would definitely recommend and take advantage of that. So the second thing I would recommend, the second thing or third thing, again, it's another house, the house of Kilian, but in particular, the Oud Gasm line. So normally Kilian fragrances are not super expensive, like at all. Like, okay, I'm not going to say at all because they're still $100 and something for like a perfume, but they're still it's priced pretty well. To me, the House of Kilian, but I know the Oud Gasm line, because there's oud in it, it is almost, at least in Canadian, like $186, almost $200 for a bottle. And then the 10 mil is, I believe, $50. So it is quite a huge jump compared to what you could normally get at Kilian. But if there is any part of the line from Oud Gasm that you did like, but you feel like the price is a bit much, I think this is definitely the time to do so. I've only smelled, I think, 3 out of the 4. I know they launched a new one. I haven't smelled the smoky oud. I'm gonna assume it's more masculine leaning. I'm just gonna assume that based on the name. I've smelled the tobacco oud. Did I smell the vanilla oud? No, I didn't smell the vanilla. The vanilla one I did not smell, and I heard people talk about that a lot. I smelled cafe oud, tobacco oud, and rose oud. I smelled the rose oud. It smelled very similar to my Jo Malone, velvet rose and oud. And the cafe rose smelled exactly like my cafe rose by Tom Ford. So for that, I didn't really feel like it was worth purchasing because I already have 2 of those in my collection. It will take me a while to get through those 2, so I didn't see the point in having duplicates. But if you do not, those are good ones to have as well. But yeah, the Oud Gasm line by Kaylee, if you are interested in that is definitely one that I think is worth buying during the Sephora sale. So another recommendation that I'm going to say, and this is probably like way in advance, but if you have someone's birthday coming up, Mother's Day is coming up. I know this sounds crazy, but like maybe even Christmas, okay? Any special occasion where you might have to buy someone a fragrance, maybe this is your time to buy it now because you can get a pretty big discount, especially with Mother's Day rolling around. I think now if your mom has like a favorite fragrance or something, that this is like the time to buy it. Unfortunately for me, my mother's favorite fragrance is Chanel, of course. So this does not apply to me because she likes Chanel. And that causes me to go to the Chanel counter and purchase a full bottle every single time. I barely pay full price for any of my bottles, and I've had to pay full price for like her perfume bottles. Like, I don't even do that for my bottles. I usually go to like discounter websites or I wait for a Sephora sale, but like 95% of my fragrance collection is not purchased full price on retail. I am so like militant on buying things discounted. I've literally waited sometimes an entire year for like a fragrance that I wanted to come back in stock in one of my discounter websites so I can go and purchase it because I just don't want to spend like the entire retail price. There are times where like, actually no, I was going to say Mason Francis Kurkdjian on the website. I've bought them from there, but I found a loophole, but the loophole isn't a loophole anymore. It's gone. Way back when, like 3 years ago, you can actually order from the Mason Francis website and everything was in euros. And at the time, the conversion for euros to Canadian was like, when I mean significantly, like I think, let's say for instance, like Baccarat Rouge was like 250 euros. When you converted it, it might have been like 330. And it started at like 350 here in Canada before taxes. And for a while, when you were purchasing it from Mason Francis the website, you did not have to pay any duties, any taxes. So it was like there was times where I was saving like $150, $180 buying it from the website. And on top of that, everything comes beautifully wrapped, like it's a presentation. And you used to be able to pick like 2 sample fragrances. And even before, you used to be able to get samples sent to your house for free. And I think you used to be able to get like 4 samples. You used to pick whatever you want to. And you used to be able to get it for, I believe at the time it was like 14 euros. And it was like $20 for me Canadian, and I got to pick whatever I wanted to, and they all come individually wrapped with a card. That's how I was able to try like Baccarat Rouge Extrait. And the good thing about that is like you can't duplicate. So when I say you can't duplicate the orders, like I'm not sure about it now, but before you could do like 2 sets. So 4 in 1, 4 in 1, but you just couldn't pick the same scents again. So if you're doing it in one order, you'd have to pick the 4 and then you'd have to pick a completely different 4, which is fine because then there was times where I was doing that and I got to try like a lot of the line in one go. And I think it cost me like $40 for like 8 fragrances. And I think they were like 2 mil, and they had like, it was just, the presentation was just phenomenal, and I'm sure it still is phenomenal, but they just didn't have it set up. Now they have it set up where there's like a US site, a Canadian site, and now they include the taxes. When you have to check out, you have to pay for shipping. So it's not as, my loophole is gone, but I got quite a lot of fragrances before they did that. But yeah, now it's not like that anymore. You're pretty much paying the same exact price that you would pay now. And so it's very, very expensive. So that's how I got a lot of I have like 8 Mason Francis Kurkdjian fragrances, and like most of them I got from the website. The other 2 I purchased from my discounter's website. So yeah, I don't remember what I was saying in the beginning of this, but that was like a little tangent on also how I used to like save money. Anyways, so something else that I would recommend from the Sephora sale, anything that you're running low on, I would say that you have to repurchase. I feel like that's kind of like a no-brainer. Yeah, like anything that you're running low on now would be the time to repurchase it. But the main thing that I would say is anything that's super expensive, that to me is probably the best time to buy them. I feel like, for instance, the 7 Virtues, the normal Kilian line, things that are relatively normally priced, at least to me personally, I don't feel like is worth, unless, of course, like unless there's no really expensive perfumes and you want to, then anywhere you could save a buck is just as good. But if there are more expensive perfumes on your list, I would recommend using this opportunity to buy the super expensive perfumes and maybe leaving the other ones for later. And also, priority. Like if you have a list of expensive perfumes that you want, but there's a lot of them that are like for winter, I would save that for the next Sephora sale and then purchase them then. But if there's like expensive perfumes that you want that are for spring, that are for summer, definitely go ahead and make those purchases now. And then when the Sephora sale rolls around again, then I think it would be a great opportunity to buy your winter fragrances. So definitely just, based on season, based on what you want. So yeah, those are kind of some of my recommendations. It's just mostly things that are more expensive, more pricey, that you can just save a lot more, especially if, let's say, there's only like you can only afford to buy like one fragrance in the entire sale, which is fine, more than enough. Then that's a great way to get like the ones that are more expensive out the way and then save your money, save your money like elsewhere when it comes to like the ones that are not as expensive. And yeah, so that would be my advice. Also, because I will say this, not that it's related to like Sephora, but sometimes if you could save it there, that's great. Because sometimes, like for instance, I will find, I don't know, like Prada Paradox or, Burberry Goddess for like sometimes like $80 on my discounter websites, as opposed to sometimes I find I find the designer fragrances cheaper on my fragrance discounter websites than I do on these, even after the discount with the Sephora. But sometimes the more expensive perfumes on my discounter websites are harder to find, just because sometimes if they're out of stock, it takes them a really long time to restock them fragrances. Like I'm talking about sometimes like a year and a half. Like one time I put myself on the waiting list for Oud by Diptyque, and I had completely forgot about that. And then it came in stock. And I was like, oh, now you're coming in stock now. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll wait till the next restock. And I should have just bought it, because it's been going on like 7 months now. And I kind of missed my window of opportunity. And sometimes like, maybe I should just bite the bullet and go in store. But like, no, it's spring and summer. So, I can wait a little bit longer. But yeah, kind of rambling here. But yeah, so those are some of my recommendations. What I will be buying during the Sephora sale is a lot of discovery sets. I'm so interested in trying new brands, new houses. And so I have kind of had my eye on like at least the 3, 4, 5 discovery sets. Clean Reserve came out with this like H2O line that's like made with water. I think that's so fascinating. Is it dead cool? They have, what is it called? They have a discovery set that's been out of stock since like Christmas, and I've been keeping my eye on it. I think I just saw it back in stock. I will definitely be purchasing that. And there's some other ones that have come to Sephora that are only online only. So also that's where I'm going to be spending most of my discount, is discovery sets, because I'm just really interested in trying so many new things. And I think that at this point, I have amassed over 100 fragrances that I'm trying to be, I don't want to say picky, but I'm trying not to just collect bottles for the sake of collecting bottles. I'm also a person that gets super overwhelmed very quickly. So I've noticed that sometimes being able to buy discovery sets, at least for me, has been one of the best and cheapest ways for me to save money. I used to be an avid blind buyer. I will not be doing that anymore. I've had to declutter so many times, I can't even count, and just such a waste of money. So moving forward, I will be buying a lot of discovery sets, and I'm just really interested to see other brands, other fragrances that aren't really talked about, but what they have, because I've discovered, like I bought the it's right behind me, the Rosie Jane discovery set, and there is a scent in there called Lake that I really, really love. It actually reminds me of G Water by Radio. There's also some other ones in there that are like fresh and clean. And I do actually have one full bottle of them. I bought this before the discovery set. But even like by Rosie Jane is a really like beautiful fragrance house no one really talks about. They did send me their latest one. It's called Missy. It's like a coconutty, like floral, like very summer beachy type of fragrance. Like think sunscreen, but like not just straight up sunscreen, but like bougie, fancy, like sunscreen. Like think Soleil Blanc, Cocoa, what is it? Vanilla Utopia Vanilla Cocoa by Kayali. Like those summery, beachy, sunscreeny type of fragrances. That's one that they release, which is normally not what they do. They usually do fresh, clean scents, but they sent me that recently, and I've been kind of like testing that one out. But also just a good time to discover some fragrance houses that you've never heard about, instead of just like kind of being in like an echo chamber of the same fragrances that we always hear. Those are all my recommendations I had to show you. Thank you guys if you've been here for this long. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble and talk. What are you going to buy during the Sephora sale? I would love to know, especially for the fragrances, but just in general, like what are you going to buy for the Sephora sale? I would absolutely love to know. And I will see you guys in my next video. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on my social media handles if you would like to. I'll put them somewhere on the screen. When I'm not on YouTube, I will be over there, but lately I've been enjoying YouTube a lot. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.